We are now joined by McIntosh Polela, who is Road Accident Fund Head of Communications. Mr. Polela, great to see you. Thanks for joining us here on SABC News, sir.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're most welcome. All right, I would have started by asking for your reaction, but it seems, there already has been a reaction on the side of the Road Accident Fund. Would you agree, with the media reports that say that RAF has indeed reacted defiantly to this Constitutional Court order, refusing its application for leave to appeal High Court judgment? In fact, we understand that the RAF CEO said the Constitutional Court order did not deal with any merits. It raised issues of a lack of jurisdiction. Could you kindly expand on this particular reaction that we heard from your CEO?
First of all, let me say that we do not agree that we are defying the Constitutional Court. And the CEO rightly said that the Constitutional Court only talked about jurisdiction and did not argue on the issue of merit. Now, what Discovery is cleverly trying to do is getting on board a ship that was already sailed. The issue that they went to court was a directive that was issued last year, and that directive we have not used since November last year. We have issued a new directive that prescribes very clearly what our obligation is versus the obligation of the medical aids. And that obligation is in line with the Medical Aid Schemes Act, in that it says that the medical aids have a statutory duty to their members. And it also prescribes our responsibility in that we will pay the prescribed minimum benefits, those ones that are not covered by the medical aids. And that's according to the law, and we shall do so. And like I said, what Discovery is cleverly doing is just trying to get on board a ship that has sailed, because the directive that they challenged, that they challenged successfully, is no longer working. I mean, we haven't used it since November last year.
Yeah, so in a way you're saying that Discovery is either celebrating prematurely or shouldn't be celebrating at all. But at the end of the day, you were unsuccessful with the Constitutional Court. So what is your next move then? Whether or not the Constitutional Court based it on an issue of jurisdiction, this means that you have to go back to the drawing board. And what is that drawing board that you're now wanting to, or I assume you're going back to?
We've already gone back to the drawing board, even before the Constitutional Court pronounced on this, and hence I'm saying that what Discovery is doing is trying to get on board a ship has sailed. And may I point you towards a judgment in September 22nd in the North Gauteng High Court, which spells clearly that medical aids do not have jurisdiction to claim from us. Because for them to claim, they have to show that there was loss or damage on their part. And there is no loss to the medical aids. And what we are saying is that with the prescribed minimum benefits, we will pay those that are our responsibility. And those that are on the obligation of the medical aids, we will not pay. And that was affirmed by the judgment of the 22nd of September by Judge Kumalo, who said the medical aids do not have any jurisdiction to claim from us, because key to that is that they have to show loss or damage, which they do not have. Now, what Discovery is doing is that they're deliberately not pointing towards the judgment because it went against them. They're pointing to the judgment that is already moot, because in April, like I said, we issued an internal directive which said clearly what our obligation is versus the obligation of the medical aid. What the medical aids have been doing is that they've been trying to pass, in fact, they've not been trying, they've been passing their costs to us. They've been penny pinching for the longest time. And when we issued this directive, they then ran to the court. And when we realized that they were doing so, we issued a directive that was in line with the Medical Aid Schemes Act. And so there's nothing to celebrate here.
Would there be a difference?
And of course, we are not.
Sorry, would there be a difference in treatment? Yeah. Would there be a difference in treatment between those covered by medical aid and those not covered by medical aid by Road Accident Fund?
No, there is no difference in treatment. Is that what is there is prescribed minimum benefits that are our obligation versus what the obligation is for the medical aid. And as I said, the medical aids are just playing with words. They're celebrating something that is not supposed to be celebrated. And by saying that, we are defying the Constitutional Court. They are not correct. We would never defy the Constitutional Court. It is not in the interest of our members. It is not in the interest of the RAF to do so. And I venture to say it would be downright stupid.
Yeah, let's go into, because you've been pressing on the issue of prescribed minimum benefits. Just for the sake of our viewers, the sake of our listeners, what is this prescribed minimum benefits that you speak of, that you are in a way forced to, in fact, pay, that they are entitled to receive? Let's deal with this prescribed minimum benefits that you've been speaking of.
So as a member of medical aid, which I am myself, and I presume that you are, there are benefits that get explained to you that are covered by the medical aids. You know, those are the minimum benefits that I'm talking about. When you take your medical aids, be it Discovery or Bonitas, so what the medical broker or the medical aid itself, it tells you this is what we cover. So those are the prescribed minimum benefits. And as per the Medical Aid Schemes Act, it is prescribed to which can be covered by the medical aids versus which are our responsibility. And we're saying going forward, and from the directive from April, we are going to cover those that are our responsibility. We go further. We also say that there are emergency benefits that we cover because we realize that this is our responsibility. But again, we are not going to subsidize medical aids. We refuse to do that. Yeah.
Do you foresee a situation where yourselves, and in particular, Discovery, might find yourselves in some sort of a deadlock or some sort of a situation, because it seems as though you view this judgment differently, really? You know, you've got Discovery celebrating, and you're saying that they shouldn't actually be celebrating at this point. Do we foresee there being problems between Discovery and RAF in future?
Well, they've created the problem if they've already said that they preserve the right to sue. They've been litigating through the media, and we've been saying to them, if you want to go to court, so be it. We understand very clearly what our responsibility is versus their responsibility. What we're asking the medical aids to do is to take their responsibility. We're already taking our responsibility, and we ended at that.
All right, thanks very much to you, McIntosh Polela, Road Accident Fund, Head of Communications there.